and welcome to today's reading. Today's video is going to be a pick a card reading, and if this is the first time that you're seeing me, I am the Hermit Tarot and this is my free tarot reading channel here on YouTube. I do have to technically think of a better spiel because I do a lot more on this channel now, but until I can figure out what that is, and I'm such a creature of habit, that is just going to be the spiel for now. If you're curious about what else I do, I recommend that you have a look at my channel and just scroll down and see if there's something that suits your liking. Before we get too into it, I do just need to announce that we have a sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by the language app Babbel, and I was really excited about doing this sponsorship because personally I can't wait to just get back out there and start traveling and exploring parts of the world, and one main country that I've always wanted to go to is Russia. Now, I think personally it would be rude to visit Russia and expect everybody there to speak English, so I've been making it my 2021 mission to get at least comfortable with the Russian language and to be fluent by the end of 2022. So I've been using Babbel to get more familiar with the Russian culture as well as how to have conversations in Russian, which is where Babbel has been very helpful. So one thing that I do really want to share with you guys is that Babbel as a language app is very easy to use and to get comfortable with, mostly because there's so many different ways to use this app. So you could either choose to do a more formal lesson plan, which is what I like to do. They're only like 10-minute lessons as well, easy, digestible, to the point. Or you could choose to use and learn that language through podcasts, games, and other interactive tools on the app as well. Привет, я Лорен, это моя кошка Kirk. Вы пенсионер.
Вы пенсионер?
Pensioner? Can't tell if I'm over exaggerating the accent or if I'm doing it well, but according to the app I am a pronunciation pro. So if you are a native Russian speaker, let me know how you think I went. So if you've been wanting to learn another language, here is your opportunity. Babbel are offering 65% off your next subscription with them if you click the link in the description box below. That's 65% off your subscription with them. So the link in the description box will take you to your new language experience today. And again, thank you so much to Babbel for sponsoring today's video. Now back to today's video, we are covering the Who is Your Future Spouse series. Today's video is part 3 in the series. I know, I can't believe we're already there. That's one thing that I still have to learn. Speaking of Russian though, I need to figure out how to count in Russian. I can literally introduce myself, I can introduce Kirk, but I still can't count to 10, so hopefully we'll get there soon. But today's video is part 3 in the Who is Your Future Spouse reading series. So we're covering a lot in today's video actually. We've got a lot to go through. I will be listing in the description box below everything that you can expect in today's video because it will be extensive and there will be an extended reading as well. So the extended reading will be available on Ribbon. As usual, you'll be able to either rent your group extended reading, or if you want, you can rent the collection as well. But it's up to you, really. There's definitely a lot of messages in the extended reading as well. Just see what you feel called towards doing. I feel like I just needed to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you for literally all of the support that you gave this series, for all of the support that you gave part 1, part 2. It made it so much easier to sit down and be able to film part 3. I knew I was going to be in for a long filming session, so knowing that you guys have been so receptive and supportive towards part 1 and 2 made it a lot easier. So thank you so much, and I just wanted that to be known. It's not that it's not important, but I did want to make sure that I talked about it in this reading. So I'm going to take you into the pick a group portion of today's video now, where you can take time to tune into your energies and select a group that you feel most called to. Okay, so welcome to the pick a group portion of today's reading. As you can see, we have 4 groups to choose from today, and what keeps these different groups common is that each of the items for today's pick a group section are rings. And I thought, how fitting. Future spouse doesn't mean we're necessarily going to marry and follow that traditional route with them, but for a life partner, I thought that a ring would be very fitting in terms of the theme. So I'll introduce you you to group one's ring first. Group one, you have this really interesting ring over here that is kind of like this really playful style design. All these rings came from the same company. I can't remember what the company's called though. And this is not sponsored either, so I don't know if I should shout them out. But anyway, I really like this ring. I liked it for the gem and the cool design. It's very interesting, and it's not something that I personally see very often. So pay attention. Maybe there's a color here that is resonating with you, or a quirky shape that's resonating, or the gem in the middle, the amethyst-like complexion that it seems to have. That is group one's ring. Now group two, y'all have this heart-shaped ring over here that has like a gold band. This ring has a blue heart that sits inside like a greenish sort of gel-like heart as well. So another very unique ring and some very unique features. So see if there's a color here that resonates to you, and please try not to let my nails detract. I've been doing very physical activity this week, so my nails are a little bit worse for wear. Group three, your ring over here follows that very unique, quirky trend. It has a gold band, but the actual ring itself is encompassed by this kind of like resin or acrylic setting, and it swirls in a way that I personally found to be very beautiful and hypnotizing. So the shape of the ring is very unconventional, but the color is just something so pure and beautiful personally. Anyway, group three, that's your reading. 2 simple tones there. Group four, your ring is larger than life, literally. It's a lot bigger than the others, to put it into context. That's how big it sits on one of my biggest fingers. It has a gold band as well. It is adjustable, unlike the other rings. The back of the ring has this texture to it. The front of it has this beautiful big red heart with an eyeball in the middle. You have a blue iris and this black pupil, as well as some eyelash details around the edges here as well. So that's group four's ring. Oh, my apologies. That's group four's ring. Bang! If you feel like you were able to select a group just on this portion of the reading, then I do recommend that you scroll down below, click on your timestamp, join me in your reading. If you need more time, I do offer you a meditation video that will play after this portion. You can join me and just meditate for a quick minute to see if a clearer sign comes to you during that meditation. And when you know where to go, click on the timestamp and I shall see you in your reading.
So the first thing I want you to do with me is to take in 2 deep, mindful breaths. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Now I want you to focus on clearing your mind. It's natural to have thoughts racing at this point. I want you to embrace each thought as it comes and let it slip as quickly as it came in. Focus on clearing and balancing out these thoughts so that they come and go without a desire to be attached to them. And now, with a rested mind, I want you to think of the first group that comes to your mind. It may be a number, it may be an object that I showed you, it could be a specific color, it could be a feeling that you felt when I showed you each of the groups today. When you are ready and when you feel confident, select your group and join me in your reading.
Hi Group 1, and welcome to part 3 of your future spouse reading. Who is your future spouse reading, no less? Group 1, we have a lot to cover today. We're going to be finishing off this series with the remaining suggestions and topics from the community post on my channel. So thank you so much once again to those who contributed. If you chose this ring right here, then this is going to be your future spouse part 3 reading. It's a very unique ring. I probably don't need to show you too many of the details. It's very different from the other 3, should I say. So first things first, we're asking Spirit, who instigates your connection? Who is the go-getter person who reaches who reaches out and makes this connection happen. Group 1, please, Spirit. Please tune me into Group 1's energy. With Group 1's future spouse, who instigates the connection? We have Zenacious, okay. Who instigates the connection for Group 1? We also have Karma over here. Who instigates the connection, Spirit? Who instigates the connection for Group 1? Who instigates the connection with their future spouse? We have Manifest. Wow, that's beautiful. I might just get one more card. Who instigates the connection for Group 1s? We have Unique. Wow. So the message that I'm getting intuitively is that you honestly both do. You both instigate this because you both want it. There is a feeling that you're both manifesting one another, and that one of you in particular does need to take action towards this connection by cutting something else out. What's your bottom deck energy? Timing. Wow. So your connection is very much about taking advantage of the time that you have with each other in order to make it a relationship. It feels like your connection starts in a very confident way. So there is an outgoing person in your connection who is very much here trying to make it happen. Now, if you see yourself as more of like an introvert, I'm getting a lot of masculine energy here. So I do feel like the masculine energy, when we're talking about energy, not genders, is the one who seems to make it happen. They seem to really make themselves known and try to make this opportunity their own, sort of take this opportunity and make it their own. It feels like there's an energy that comes across as being more extroverted. I don't think that's a true depiction of this person's character. They kind of want to be seen though. So if you don't usually chase, if you're not usually the person who pursues strongly, then it's probably going to be your partner. But I am seeing like a feminine energy for some of you who gets very like excited and chases the masculine energy, because this feminine energy is very curious and flirty and fun and talkative and just wanting to kind of get to know this person better. So there is a feeling here that there's going to be a very sort of almost outspoken person who makes their presence more known. Now, it does feel like you have to make the most out of the time that you have together. It feels like you both manifest this opportunity together, but there is karma here, which is telling me that either something has to be cut out in order for the two of you to come together, or restructuring is required in order for the two of you to come together. Timing and karma tells me that you do have to, there's an extra push to this situation that either makes it a little bit more challenging initially, or it just kind of requires a little bit more of an effort initially. And karma also just makes me think that a lot of effort is put in by somebody in the beginning. Somebody really tries to make the effort and to have their actions be seen by the other person. It almost feels like one person in particular has a lot to prove, and I don't know how that will resonate. Maybe if you haven't already, definitely watch part 1 and 2, but that could be insinuating that you have a history with this person and they need to kind of prove that they are the right person for you by making it up to you through their actions here. Now, manifest is very interesting. I will show you this card because it stands out to me. It's a very masculine magician energy, and it seems to be more of like this desire to, like, you've dreamt about it, you've imagined it, it's here in front of you, make it happen. It's very much like a feeling of you both energetically wanted this and imagined this and created this with your minds and your energy, but one of you takes it that step further and physically turns it into something through the actions that they take and the communication that they make. So for some of you, it's not as grandiose as this person literally following you around. It's more of like this person making the effort to ask for your phone number, to set a follow-up meeting, to spend more time alone with you during that moment. There's like this action taken to ensure that there is follow-up action. And this person is mostly trying to do it because they do feel that this situation is very unique. Now, unique is also a sign of individuality. So it does feel like, obviously it takes two to tango. Although one person instigates, the other person reciprocates and offers this feeling of like a chain reaction. The main reason that I'm saying that is because unique makes me think that there's a part of this that is mutual. There's a part of this that feels like the person who takes action first is feigning confidence and is not actually that certain that they'll be successful when pursuing the other person. So it's very much up to the other person's response to kind of keep that connection going. It almost feels like the first person who instigates this connection is so unsure that they're going to be successful that if the other person so much as looks the other way when this person approaches them, the first person will chicken out and just sort of run the other way because they're barely there in the first place. So it's very much reliant upon the secondary person's warm energy to keep this courage that the first person seems to have. You're both kind of pretending to be a lot more confident than you actually are when you first meet. So that's what I'm seeing for who instigates your connection. Let's have a look at how/when they will know that they've fallen for you. And for this complex message, I am going to be using tarot. So group 1, please, Spirit. How/when does group 1's future spouse know when they've fallen for them? Wow, we have the Princess of Pentacles coming out first. How/when does group 1's future spouse? We have the 10 of Swords reversed. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. They really, there's a reason why this person wants to spend the rest of their life with you. We have the 4 of Torches reversed. Wow, you come across as a very healing person in this person's life. How/when will they know that they've fallen for group 1, Spirit? How/when will group 1's future spouse know? We have the Hierophant in the upright position. How/when? We have Judgment showing itself in a very dramatic way, typical Judgment fashion. One more card, please, Spirit. How does their future spouse know? Or when does their future spouse know? We have the 9 of Swords. So there is a lot of indication to me that it kind of creeps up on this person and then it becomes so obvious that they kind of realize that the feeling's always been there. So it is a feeling of like slow growth and then undeniable awareness to the point where this person's shocked that they didn't see it in the first place. I get that this person is a slow mover in relationships in general, and it makes me think that they may pretend to be a lot more distant, or they may be very closed off or cold in the beginning. They could just be focused on other aspects of their life with all of these Pentacles energies here. But this is someone who is looking for a sustainable, meaningful relationship at the time that the two of you connect, and they really aren't, putting too many unrealistic expectations on your connection. It feels like they're just trying to take it slow and steady. And the main way that they know that they've fallen for you is because you start to become a very reliable part of their life, a very stable part of their life, a part of their life that they can imagine growing old with. This is the kind of person, in order to understand who to settle into a relationship with, they need to picture you there with them in the key moments of their life moving forward. They don't need you to be joined at their hip all hours of the day. They come across as quite independent, to be honest with you, especially with the Queen of Swords reversed. But at the same time, they want to be able to imagine you at those family events, or, at those big birthdays, or on those key moments in their life where they expect their partner to be. There's a side of this person that's quite traditional is what I'm getting. And they seem to need to see you fit into those traditional aspects of their life, especially with the Hierophant here. They have to imagine themselves basically being married to you and spending the rest of their life with you. So it makes me think that it takes this person a long time, and that they are definitely someone who doesn't just jump into relationships. They like to take their time and before they call their person their partner. They might have had, for some of you, maybe like 30-40% of you, they may have had a lot of like girlfriends, boyfriends, flings, little things on the side, but they haven't had a lot of like serious relationships or like marriages. They're going to be someone who takes that very seriously. They're a slow mover when it comes to that. And a big part of seeing that with you is seeing like a future with you and how you fit into their long-term plan. That being said, it feels like they know that they've fallen for you when something seems to happen between the two of you that should or could be quite painful. It should be a moment of like difficulty in terms of either it's a very difficult conversation or it's a very difficult situation in your life where you feel like you can't trust a lot of people, you can't talk to a lot of people, you can't really share your thoughts or feelings with a lot of people. And this person, or vice versa, you seem to be someone that this person can open up to, and you offer this person an opportunity to kind of feel like they can trust and like they have support and like they have someone who will just listen, who's not going to pretend to fix all their problems, but who is just going to listen and give them a safe place to open up to. It feels like you prove yourself to this person. You prove that you will have their back, that you are a ride or die, that you aren't going to try to overstep by taking on, what they are responsible for, but you are simply going to be by their side when it matters the most. And it makes me think that this person may have like mental health concerns, or they might just be someone who goes through like a dark period in their life, and you're there and you seem to be like this light at the end of the tunnel that is more of like a support, helping them walk to that light, not someone who's like picking them up and taking them. You're standing next to them, like holding their hand, like, come on, you got this, you can do this, you've already come this far. You seem to be someone who helps them feel strong when they should feel weak, if that makes sense. And this awareness is something that's very sudden, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's scary to the point where this person runs the other way. For some of you, if this is the first time that they've experienced something like that, it could be quite scary. It could instigate feelings of fear because they're instantly afraid, like, well, gosh, this is beautiful, but what if they leave me? So if this person is afraid of intimacy, for example, or if they have fears of abandonment, there may be like little issues. I'm only approaching this because it may apply to some of you who, this is someone from your past. So if that resonates, you'll know, because you'll know from the first part of this series, we talked about whether this is a new or old person. But I do think that the Judgment card is almost this undeniable awareness of how impactful you are in their life and how much they actually value your support, especially your actions of support, and what you say when this person feels like they don't have a lot of people they can trust or open up to. You're just this beautiful healing presence in their life. And that also translates to this Four of Torches. They know that they've fallen for you when you seem to be able to handle and take their changes and their instability, their moments where they kind of disrupt the status quo. It doesn't feel like they're a completely, chaotic energy, but there is something about this person's life that proves to be an unstable moment, either a change in jobs, a change in housing, maybe they constantly move for work, a traveling salesman, for example. There's something about the Four of Torches where there's disharmony in this person's life, and you seem to be the only thing that's really holding this together, because it feels like with the Nine of Swords here, the epiphany moment amidst all this sort of disharmony is that it would or could be a lot worse had you not been there to support them. So you really seem to be like a supporting figure in this person's life. And I also want to say with the Nine of Swords that there is a feeling of like, how do I make it up to you? How do I pay it back to you? because I do think that it's a painful epiphany. I don't think it's an easy realization. It's like this person doesn't have a heck of a lot going for them, and yet there you are keeping them grounded, or at least trying to, and they kind of feel a bit guilty, or at least a bit sorrowful at the fact that they can't be more stable for you in that moment. Now, I don't think this is a constant pattern in this person's life. It's not something that seems to stand out as part of their character. There's a lot of remorse and guilt behind this feeling. So they definitely don't want to be in this situation with you, but that is definitely part of how they realize that they've fallen for you, is because they admire your ability to hold things together, or to try to be someone who can comfort them during this time. And you're literally this stable, constant thing in their life, that despite everything else. So for some of you, this person, they take a while to see it, but once they see it, they can't unsee it. Look at the imagery on this card. There's two eyes down here. Once they see that they're in love with you and that they've fallen in love with you, they can't unsee it. But until they get to that moment, it may be a long, long time, because that's just who they are. So let's have a look at their current energy now. So Spirit, what is Group 1's future spouse's current energy? And this part of the reading will be looking at their current energy versus their energy when you come into union. So that will help us figure out how far away you are for some of you. So for most of you, that's the aim. Group 1, please, Spirit, what is the current energy of their future spouse? What is Group 1's future spouse's current energy? What is Group 1's future spouse's current energy? Communication. I just heard All Eyes on Me by Tupac. Okay. We also have Move On. Wow. Okay. I want to get one more card, but I can't really fit it there. Sorry, crystals. Priorities, you know what I mean? Group 1, please, Spirit. What is their future spouse's current energy? Which one? This one? Which one, Spirit? Trust. Wow. Okay. Big energy from this person. Who are they? Okay. I'm going to chuck this to the side. We're going to get one more card. Another row. So what is their future spouse's energy when they come into union with them, Spirit? What is Group 1's future spouse's energy when they come into union with them? Leap. Yeah, they're a doer. Leap. You go first. The universe will catch you. And we also have don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? Wow. That's very much the dynamic that I was feeling. Shall I get one more card? Group 1, please, Spirit. What is their energy of this future spouse when they come into union? I cannot take them. There's too many. Just one. Please, Spirit. Just one card for Group 1. What is their energy of their future spouse? Thank you. The Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. I apologize if I have the shakes. I went to the gym this morning and my hands are a little bit sore. It was arm day. Not that anybody asked. Okay, Group 1. Oh my gosh. So when your future spouse, let's talk about their current energy. I'm sorry, I'm so excited. I'm stumbling and mumbling and stuttering. Their current energy is kind of about being more of a clear communicator. And this isn't just about verbal communication. 90, or maybe not that much. What do they say? It depends on your culture. But for my culture, 90% of our communication is nonverbal. It's very much about hand gestures, body language, head movements, facial expressions, more than the language itself and the verbal communication itself. So it feels like this person is working on their communication. They're trying to be more of a clearer communicator. And it makes me think that this person is leveling up and trying to become more of like an assertive person, more of like an assertive personality, someone who is able to stand up for themselves, to have their needs sort of addressed, and to be outspoken enough to be seen appropriately in a situation. I feel like this person is goal-oriented right now. They're working towards something to do with being heard and seen appropriately. So they could be striving towards a promotion in their career, or just trying to kind of get a good result out of their clear communication. It also feels like this person is using communication to kind of work through some things going on in their life with their personal relationships. This could be family, but it's just this feeling as though they're trying to see eye to eye with someone, mostly because of the imagery on this card. It makes me think that this person has to have some sort of conversation with someone in their life, and I believe that this conversation is going to lead them into a new phase of their journey with Move On here. This person is tying up loose ends somewhere, and they seem to be stepping forward into a new path. This is making me think of Star Wars and going like hyperspeed. Look at those stars here. It's like they're about to travel forward because of this ability that they're gaining, or at least growing, because we usually can communicate from a very young age, but they're like really building it and strengthening it. I see with Move On here that this person is very much focused on progressing and leveling up. And this is not just in the physical sense, this is an energetic change. So their current energy is that they're trying to step forward and do this quickly. So it feels like this person has received notice, or they've at least been feeling the push to kind of level up their circumstances, and to do so fairly quickly. I think with trust over here, there's a part of this person when it comes to love that feels like their situation is out of their control. It feels like they can't do a heck of a lot. So they're not really actively focusing on it right now. There seems to be a blind sort of faith that they have in the universe, where if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. There's something about this person's attitude towards love right now that is very blasé. They're not really out here making power moves, trying to make this happen. I also see that that does not mean that this person isn't open. In fact, they're very open. They very much go with the flow, without throwing caution to the wind, just like in the moment, literally like this card, hands open, heart open, waiting for the right opportunities. So they actually seem to be in a good space right now. They seem to be very sort of open to love, just not really focusing on making or taking actions towards it. Now, how this is viewed, and when the two of you come into union, is that there seems to be a leap of faith on their side, where they have to kind of step into something that they're not 100% sure of. They have to take action or do something that they kind of don't know the outcome of. And that's what I was getting up here, remember, with who instigates your connection. There is someone who seems to have to kind of be or present to be a lot more extroverted and confident than they actually are. And it does feel like there's fear behind that. It does feel like there's probably not going to, accept me or say yes, but I'm going to try anyway. Maybe they got a bit of liquid confidence in them as well at the time, which helps them sort of say these things or do these things. But it does feel like a leap is required in order for the two of you to come into union. Their energy when they come into union with you is that they're going to be very optimistic though. However afraid they may be, or however timid their character may be, they're actually feeling very optimistic. And it's almost like I have nothing to lose, so let me shoot my shot. Let me aim for the stars and hopefully I'll land on the moon, They feel very optimistic, almost naively optimistic, which makes me think it could be a little bit of liquid courage for some of you. I know that a lot of you don't really drink, or you're not really here for messages about alcohol, but just for some of you, take it if it resonates. Now, we also have don't dim to fit in. So when you come into union with this person, their energy is really going to be focused on like getting your attention for the right reasons. I feel like this person's energy is very much like about enhancing their individuality. They may be a little bit quirky or different, or just like they stand out for physical reasons, but I do think that they're kind of trying to be this confident being that is noticed by you, so that you don't not see them. They want to make sure that you do see them. Please see me, please see me. And I think that there may be a little bit of internal dialogue going on with them that is kind of like, well, what do I do in this situation? How can I curb my fears? How can I regain my confidence? How can I overcome this courage issue? You know, a little bit of internal dialogue, like a pep talk here, trying to get themselves ready to go. We also have the Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. So that makes me think that when you guys come into union, their energy is overly optimistic. Despite the concerns, the fears, or lack of courage and confidence they may have, they are feeling an incredible pull towards you, an undeniable pull towards you. And it very much feels like a more of a soul feeling, something that they can't really describe with words or imagine with their mind. It's more of like a soul feeling of, this is something that I've been training for lifetimes. And that comes back to that feeling of manifesting, right? And unique over here. There is this overall desire to figure this out and to take advantage of this unique opportunity with you, and to figure out like why you are such a pull in their life, why they are so drawn towards you. Group 1. So that's what I'm seeing in terms of their energy currently versus when the two of you come into union. We're going to get some messages of encouragement from their higher self now. I did do this in part 1, and I just personally think that, you know, I've been filming this series for over a week now. I think it's been nearly 2 weeks. So I just thought it would be good to get some more messages from their higher self and any encouragement or advice as well to kind of wrap up this series before we take it into the extended. So let us start with this deck, shall we? This is the Heart Thought Cards deck by Louise Hay. Louise Hay is a very prominent figure in the spiritual community, and she has quite an empire, if I'm honest with you. Google her if you haven't already. Her name is on a lot of decks. Yeah, I have a few of her decks personally, but she's quite big here in Australia. All right, Spirit, can I please get messages of encouragement from Group 1's future spouse's higher self? What does their future spouse's higher self want to say to them, Spirit? What messages of encouragement can Group 1's future spouse's higher self say to them? One more. This is so cute. This is so cute. That's why they love you. That's why they love you. And they want you to embrace these sides of you. You're a very loving, joyful, optimistic person in your own way. Maybe not all the times. Maybe you've been through your own sort of pain and your own experiences that have left you at times feeling jaded and bitter. But at this point, they're encouraging you to stay open. The first card that fell out was, I'm worth loving. And the back of this card is, these are all affirmations, by the way. A powerful affirmation is to stand with arms wide open and say, I am willing to let the love in. It is safe to let the love in. I am worth loving. Let the love in is what their higher self is saying. That makes me think that you guys could be very close, if not already in union with this person. Let's go over here, actually. These cards fell out next. The first card that I want to talk about is the I am always safe card. The back of this card says, I release my emotional attachment to beliefs from the past so that they do not hurt me in the present. I am safe. I am always safe. Such a beautiful affirmation card. And also a card that fell out with that one was, I learn something new every day. Honestly, I just love these cards so much. The back of this card says, life is a series of doors closing and opening to new experiences. Sometimes learning experiences and sometimes joyous experiences. It is all part of life, and I am safe. It is only change. So their higher self is encouraging you to stay open and to allow new experiences into your life, which makes me think that in order for the two of you to kind of meet and come into union at least, you do need to stay open and receptive to what life throws your way, to not be so structured and to allow things to kind of change and happen for you. Because I do think that there is a serendipitous energy around this, maybe a quick change of plans or a slight, misdirection that leads you into union with this person. It makes me think that your ego's mind of what your future may hold differs from what the best outcome for you and your future spouse is in your future union. I do think, just keep an open mind here. We also have I am a magnet for miracles. Yeah, there's that energy again of staying optimistic and open. The back of this card says, when I change my consciousness, what were we just talking about? Your ego's mind, your ego's plan. When I change my consciousness and forgive those I need to forgive, healing miracles occur. Wow, there is definitely something about you and this situation that requires an openness of mind at least. We also have the last card, I am a loving, joyful person. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Back of this card says, I release all thoughts and vibrations of confusion, chaos, disharmony, disrespect, or distrust. They are eliminated from my consciousness completely. So there is a feeling here of healing certain aspects, emotional attachments in your past where, maybe rightly so, somebody's actions towards you caused these feelings. But I think that the overall focus here is to understand that that connection or that attachment to those emotions is something that could be holding you back from coming into union with the right people who are going to understand you are worthy of loving and that you are someone who needs to be respected and treated appropriately. Your future spouse wants you to feel loved and safe already so that when they come in, they're just adding to that. They're not the foundation of that. They're the icing on top of a cake of a lot of love and safety and feelings of worth. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Group 1. That has been part 3 of your future spouse reading. I am going to take this into the extended, so I'll just quickly remind you about the extended. In the extended, we're going to be getting channeled messages, but we're also going to be looking at how they will treat you in front of their family or your family, in front of friends, in front of strangers, and when you disagree. And I thought that was a very interesting suggestion, so I wanted to make sure that I included that somewhere in the series. So obviously we're going to get channeled messages as well from them currently and from their higher self. Channeled messages decks will be from my own, as well as from the Cupid Says Oracle deck, which has been a hit in this community. A lot of you love this deck, so that will be in the extended reading. If you want to join me in the extended, the link is down below. I'll have it up already, so you can just go and join me straight away. Before you go, or if you go, I do just quickly need to take time to thank you for all of your support right here on YouTube. Time is the most valuable thing, and I really appreciate the time that you've spent supporting me here on YouTube and watching this reading. I also want to thank your guides, my guides, and our spiritual teams for helping me channel today's messages and for keeping me safe while doing so. I shall connect with you in another video. Bye! Hi Group 2 and welcome to your part 3 reading of Who is Your Future Spouse, part 3. How have we already made it to this beautiful number? We are wrapping up this series of Who is Your Future Spouse with a lot of specific questions, kind of like the straggler questions. So if you want to follow along with me, I do have them linked in the description box. First of all, let me show you the ring that you chose. This is a new ring in my collection, so it is very beautiful and something I haven't worn very often, which kind of made it the perfect candidate for this reading because the rings that I wear often I'm usually too attached to, so I don't usually use them in readings. Let's keep that over there. Group 2, please, Spirit. We'll start off with the first question. Who instigates your connection between you and your future spouse? We're going to start off with this beloved deck. I honestly have so many favorites, but You should know by now that this is definitely one of my favorite decks. So group 2, who instigates their connection between group 2 and their future spouse spirit? Who instigates the connection between group 2? Oh, we have justice coming out for you. I'm not going to take referrals, excuse me. I'm not going to take reversals unless I feel it is necessary, but justice did come out for you. We also have dream coming out. Wow, there's a passive energy here already. The quiet one, who would have guessed the quiet one takes the lead? Group 2, who instigates their connection, spirit? Who instigates their connection, group 2? What are you saying? Progress. Oh my lord, one of you has to, otherwise you never make the progress you want. It feels like you're both quite passive, and one person just has to do it. You're both in a feminine energy when it happens though, and we're talking about energy, not genders. Feminine energy is passive. It's sort of more knowing rather than action orientated. It sits in its power and it remains receptive and open. It's not about being closed off and held back. It's about sitting here with arms wide open and waiting for it to come your way, attracting it through your energy, knowing in your sort of core that this is the right thing to do. Staying in a passive sort of feminine energy can be just as powerful as being action orientated, but the key is to stay receptive and open. And it feels like you're both in that energy at the time that your connection comes together. One more card for group 2, we have uncovered. Yeah, there's a vulnerable moment between the two of you where you're both forced to kind of come together, and it feels like you're both in this sort of energy of kind of, being passive, not really wanting to be the first one to step forward. Defense is your bottom deck energy, so this tells me that you're both quite closed off, at least not projecting actions into the connection. You're both kind of on the defense here rather than the offense. So this tells me that the way that your connection comes together is that the usually feminine energy has to kind of step up. Although you're both in this energy, there is this sort of balance and mirroring that's going on between you. Nobody really wants to be vulnerable first. Nobody really wants to put their hand up and be seen as the one who potentially gets rejected, but one of you does. And this is someone who, in societal standards, is not expected to instigate. And I'm saying that because this will help you identify who it is, whether it's you or your person. By society's standards, the person who instigates your connection is not the one who should, So say in your society, men are the one who propose, men are the one who do this, then it would be the female who does in that case, just to use genders as an example. I'm not trying to pigeonhole or typecast your connection in any way, but it feels like you're the one who is very shy, or at least very much not used to doing this, is the one who does. And you're both kind of in the same energy, which is why it's very surprising and also pivotal that this person does that. Otherwise, you could both miss out through staying passive, receptive yet passive. Now, I do think that from this initial leap that this one person takes, this initial sort of push, the other one will be open and able to reciprocate, because justice insinuates balance and action. Every action causes a equal or opposite reaction. Isn't that the law of action? Anyway, it's been ages since I've taken a proper science lesson, but it does feel like there's a balanced and equal reaction to the action that is taken. So the more sort of less likely of the two of you takes action, and it happens in a way where the other person is open, is ready, was waiting, and is kind of like, wow, I'm kind of glad it wasn't me, but I'm happy that one of us did it, because gosh, how long have we been waiting for this to happen? I also think with Dream here that the energy around your connection is very, very slow to start. It almost becomes like a whimsical fantasy of like, is it real? Isn't it real? Am I imagining it? What if this isn't, in line with my reality of the situation? there almost seems to be like a lot of confusion, group 2, in the beginning. And I think that this confusion is just caused by the lack of action as well, or at least it's exacerbated by the lack of action. This dreamy energy is causing a lot of sort of disconnect between reality and fantasy, and it makes me think that you're both in the same energy of like imagining being together but not really able to take that step. So it is the one who is least likely to, by society's standards, who will. And for many of you, it's you who are watching this that will do that. I do think with Dream here that you seem to actually connect with this person more on the energetic level. You have a very strong emotional connection to this person, but there doesn't seem to be a lot that's happening in the physical. So only take that if it resonates. It may only apply to a small portion of you, so please don't let this confuse you. If it feels like something that is not at all hitting, then you don't need to force it to fit into your narrative. But there is a small portion of you where your connection with this person is very much astral, or at least energetic, and you seem to connect with this person more in an energetic way rather than in a physical, verbal, text each other, message each other, phone each other, call each other. It's like you just have this like spirit hotline. You just check in with their energy. You're like, oh gosh, I feel like they're really sad right now. And then maybe they put something up on their page and it's like, oh gosh, yeah, they were sad. Oh wow. That's so strange how I just picked up on that. So that's the other reason why I think Dream is here, is because the one of you is more receptive in an intuitive sense to this connection and kind of instigates a close intuitive connection with the other person as well. Progress is saying that it is slow to start. It is slow to start, but that first step helps make a lot of big change, which is why one of you almost gets frustrated and is like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I've been waiting for this person to ask for my phone number for 3 months. I've been purposefully squatting in the gym in front of them and they still haven't asked me for my phone number. No tea, no shade. I've seen people do that and it works. So listen, whatever works for you. But I do think that in your case, group 2, it's very much about like, who's going to be the first to do this? And then one of you just kind of bites the bullet and is like, I will. Bang. Will you ask me out already? Can I have your phone number? Are you free this weekend? What are you doing next Saturday? Do you want to be my partner? Why? It just feels like it takes that one person to kind of push over that peace line. Like you're both playing Switzerland and it's like, well, nobody's going to win then. Like, how do we get to the ending? Uncovered is interesting because this tells me that with your connection, it's not really about instigating it. It's about literally just revealing what has been there. It makes me think that it's like buried treasure that you both know, that you both have, but one person has to come and dig it up and show it to the other person and go, see, this is what I've been keeping in my lump of soil. And the other one's like, wow, dig, 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 dig. I have the same one as well. We both have feelings for each other. How long have you known? Literally ever since I met you. Same. Why did we wait so long? It doesn't matter. What are you doing on Friday? Thanks for asking. I'm free. I'll see you then. That's what it's like. It literally feels like it's not about sort of creating something. It's about digging something up and showing it to the other person. Like, hey, look at what I have for you. And I've actually had it for you this whole time. So very interesting. It does take that one of you to kind of bite the bullet and step over the line and go, I know that I'm probably crazy, but I need to just do this and rip the band-aid off and face it once and for all. Regardless of rejection, I'd rather just get through this awkward, confusing moment and know once and for all by getting progress and being vulnerable, because it does require you to be vulnerable being that person. So it does tell me that for most of you, it's going to be you, the viewer of this reading, who will instigate your connection, group 2. So let us move forward. We're going to get tarot next. We're going to be asking Spirit, how and when will this person know that they've fallen for you? So how and when will your future spouse know that they've fallen for you? Group 2, please, Spirit. How and when does their future spouse know that they've fallen for them? Group 2. We have the King of Torches coming out first in reverse. How and when does group 2's future spouse know? We have the 5 of Cups coming out in reverse. How and when does group 2's future spouse know? We have the 9 of Torches in the upright. How and when does group 2's future spouse know? We have the 2 of Pentacles. Oh, I'm hearing that song, Lauryn Hill, X Factor. It could all be so simple, but you had to make it hard. Loving you is like a battle, and we both end up with scars. How does this person know that they've fallen? Princess of Swords. Yes, there is a feeling here of be suppressive, be suppressive. Hide the truth. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Oh my gosh. One more card. I'm sorry to laugh because I know that this is a very serious situation for a lot of you, but it's just like, how come this is so common? How come this is so common? Oh, one more card, and here it is. You beautiful, beautiful energy. I don't see this card regularly in this deck, so when it comes out, it feels very refreshing to me. Temperance is your final card. Wow. Holy heck, I'm seeing this could be a very spiritual connection for a lot of you. You know, this is like a divine counterpart connection. We have Prince of Swords as your bottom deck energy. Yeah. For many of you, okay, this is what happens. 90% of you, okay? 90% of you group 2. Your person catches feelings immediately. Your person sees you and is like, tunnel vision, you're everything I see. And it's like, wow, okay, get a grip, pull it together, come on, what are you doing? Pull your head in, turn it off, shut it off, you know, like that reel on, or that TikTok, shut it off. Literally, this person is like, I can't. I've got to keep my horizon open. I've got to suppress. I've got to balance these feelings out with the practicality of the situation. Maybe this is my, you know, maybe the context that the two of you meet, there's some sort of practical dilemma. And it makes me think that this person just has to kind of suppress the way that they feel for you from the beginning, but they catch feelings from you from the beginning. They catch feelings for you from the beginning, group 2. So I do think that there is a healthy level of denial here that puts a massive spanner in the works and honestly becomes a very confusing situation for this person. I mean, I can imagine it's the same for you, but I do want to offer you insight into what goes on their end. They are going to be kind of overcompensating for these softer feelings by presenting to be overtly masculine. So they will be very assertive. They will try to take control by being very harsh and abrasive, by being really loud and obnoxious, by trying to kind of run away and focus on other things, by trying to look like a busy person and someone who has like a bit of their fingers in every pot. And for some of you, that could look like someone who is more of like a player, but please know that that isn't the case for most of you. This person doesn't intend on tarnishing their self-image because they recognize that you are an impactful person. They just seem to be a very busy energy at the time that they catch feelings for you. And this manifests as them distracting themselves from taking this feeling seriously. So they get feelings very quickly, but they turn them off and it turns into something that's like an elephant in the room for them. Either they try to pretend that it's not an issue and that they don't have to address it, or they try to simply pretend like they don't even have to heal it at all, like it's not even anything that they need to pay attention to. For some of you, it's more that they feel like they have to grieve you before they've even had you. So it's just a very interesting, uncomfortable feeling of like somebody who's saying no before they've even properly said yes. It's like, no, I can't. I'm sorry. It's like, why? I can't. Why? I can't. I'm too busy. Or you're a friend of the family. Or I don't know, there's just some sort of practical issue. What about the long distance? How are we going to make that work? I can't. I'm sorry. And there is a feeling here that despite them trying to do this and say this to themselves, despite them taking actions and alternate paths and trying to think in other ways, the feelings never truly change. The feelings are still there, just below the surface, sort of being hidden and suppressed. And I think that this creates a lot of confusion for this person for quite some time, because they expect that with time their feelings will dissipate, but it's almost the exact opposite. Their feelings build and build and build into frustration, into jealousy, into anger, into a lot of just bitterness. Well, why did I have to catch feelings for someone that I can't have? Until, with the Temperance card here, they have to reconcile those angry, heated, frustrated energies and feelings by understanding how their own actions have caused this sense of defeat, by understanding that their own mentality and their own energy in this case has caused this sense of defeat. There's almost like a needing to take accountability, but also just simply needing to kind of release that frustration in order to see the other side of the situation. It's like they've brought so much resistance in that they haven't realized that the other side of the water is passive. They've come in with these big waves and they're like, why is it so hard? And you're sitting here on like a surfboard straight chilling, you know, it's like glass over here, and this person's like in a tsunami weather, and then they're like, oh, I was creating the turbulence. Wow, look at that. The situation is not as complicated as my energy was making it out to be. And I don't mean to minimize the situation, because who knows, maybe it is quite a big situation to be in. The context could be as grand as you're already married to somebody else, or this person's, you know, at your wedding and they're the best man, and it's like, I just caught feelings for my best friend's wife. Wow. It could be quite big, it could be quite small, but whatever it is, there's a practical issue here that causes this person to suppress, and those feelings never truly fade. They're still there. It's just like something that they try to distract themselves from, something they try to pretend isn't an issue, but the feelings never change. And then finally, it just becomes too much. And with the Nine of Torches here, they're almost pushed to breaking point. Like, they're pushed to the point where they have to figure out why and what's going on. And it's almost like they're back against the wall, needing to confront this for what it truly is. And then they find the more peaceful side, where actually there's a lot of calmness and unity and connection. And I don't know, it could be as divine of a connection as by denying you, they're denying a part of themselves, because extremely triggering connections like twin flame connections, for example, when we refuse that person or when we deny that person and run from them, we are running ultimately from ourselves, because they mirror or trigger aspects of ourselves through their behaviors. So that could be a part of this. But I see that the feelings are instant, they're suppressed, they never truly go, they do grow, and they become something that this person has to reconcile with in order to figure out, you know, how to live with it, because it's not something that will ever go away. So that could be another spanner in the works as to how you've both gotten into this passive energy of just sort of waiting to see, well, who's gonna act first, who's gonna turn this situation around and stop running or chasing and simply, you know, be. So interesting group 2. Let us keep moving forward. The next portion of your reading, we're asking Spirit for their current energy as well as their energy when the two of you come into union. So group 2, what is their future spouse's current energy, Spirit? We have support over here. Wow. Okay, what is their current energy? We have anxiety. Sorry, there you go. I thought there was another card behind it. Anxiety, one more card. What is their future spouse's energy? We also have connect. Ooh, interesting. What is your bottom deck energy? Romance. What? Excuse me? What is their energy when they come into union with group 2? What is group 2's future spouse's energy when they come into union with them? Boundaries. Wow, okay. Boundaries. What is their energy like when they come into union? Hello. We also have pillar of light Your vibration is raising. You are the Oracle. I'll show you these cards later as well when I talk about them. One more card, please, for group 2. What is their future spouse's energy when they come into union with them? Group 2, please, Spirit. Hello. Protection. Wow, yeah, I'm not surprised. Protection coming out. Yeah. I am getting a fiery energy from this person. They feel like an emperor in the making, even if your person is the feminine side of your counterparts, because let's be real, a lot of divine masculines are awakening as well and watching videos like this, so I can't just play specific sides of the coin and expect that it's going to resonate always. But regardless of who is divine feminine, divine masculine, majority masculine, majority feminine, your person group 2 has masculine qualities about them. We know that they also have feminine qualities about them up here. Technically speaking, every person has a little bit of both, like the yin yang symbols, a little bit of dark in the light, a little bit of light in the dark. But your person is very much in a more sort of feminine energy right now, and it's working with them as well as against them at times. Bottom deck energy in this deck is Sisterhood of the Rose. I'll come back to it if I have to. I just want to talk about their current energy right now. They're in a feminine energy of wanting to connect, of wanting to kind of grow from a more sort of sensual side. And when I look at sensuality, I'm not just talking about sex. I'm talking about your senses in general, your experiences, bringing passion into your life, bringing sort of zest into your life, looking at your sacral chakra as the womb of your development and using your inspirational sort of energy to forge that path ahead. Very much an Ace of Wands opportunity of birthing something into existence. It feels like this person is in a creative space and they're doing it from their sacral chakra. They're out here trying to sort of nourish themselves, and I wouldn't be surprised if this process is causing them to nourish connections around them as well, because often when we work on ourselves, we have this sort of like a knock-on effect, which is being depicted here in the cups, where, you know, those around us are impacted because we are reestablishing the foundations of who we are, which then creates new foundations for our personal and interpersonal relationships. This person is definitely healing emotional sort of blockages, or at least trying to strengthen their support system. Their energy seems to be focused on creating a tight, strong circle. And I think that this translates to them keeping a close-knit circle as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this person isn't very out there or not really sort of engaging in much social media, or I would be surprised if this person is actually out here, you know, publicly showing the intimate moments of their life. They seem to be a little bit of a ghost right now, just focusing on those sentimental moments, very connected to sentimental moments, as well as the sacral chakra desire to create and birth and just inspire themselves to keep going. This is translating as a lot of pressure though. The anxiety card here means that this person's masculine qualities of wanting to know and taking practical action are kind of being squandered, and it is creating anxiety. There are still concerns over this person's future, and part of it could have to do with love and connection in terms of partners. It could have to do with money, because I do think that this person is trying to simply focus on not being too sort of practical and structured, but I also think that this is failing them because they have this masculine side to them that likes to plan and likes to do and likes to sort of know, and because they can't, it's also creating friction and a little bit of inner turmoil more than anything. Your person seems to be romanticizing their future though, in order to combat those anxious feelings, and that seems to be creating a profound feeling of connection and wanting to connect. So I wouldn't be surprised if for many of you, this person's energy is far off from you. I feel like they're trying to pull people into their lives who have meaning. Excuse me, I just got an itchy nose, and for some readers, including myself, an itchy nose means that this person is coming into your life very soon. It's not even like snotty, it's itchy. It's just itchy, itchy, itchy. So I wouldn't be surprised if this person is about to come into your life or come back into your life, group 2, because they seem to be pushing for these sentimental moments with the right people in a connecting, meaningful way. And we know that when the two of you come into union, you're both going to be in a very feminine energy, which is very much where they're at right now. So it does feel like this person is just trying to pull in the right people, emphasis on the right, because they see that when you come into union, they're going to have boundaries here. They're going to have these walls up, and they're going to be very selective and careful about who they let in because of that. They're not just going to be out here open for everybody. This person considers themselves to be someone who others look up to as well. They consider themselves to be someone who inspires other people, or who is like carving a path for others to follow, whether that means they have younger siblings or just like an audience that's watching them, or people who are learning from them. This card says beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher, sisterhood of the rose. They have expectations of themselves in the very least to act a certain way, and they are going to have boundaries. Now, this doesn't mean they're closed off, because remember, boundaries for them means that they're still open to receiving the right things. And in your case, it feels like when you come into union with this person, they are going to have a very high vibrational attractive energy that is open, open, open. It is also defensive, because being high vibrational means that you kind of or should we say supersede, things that cannot match your frequency. It's literally, if we look at music, right? Frequency is literally that notes that resonate this high do not overlap notes that are on this level. And you know this if you've worked in music in a digital sense as well. They can exist in the same sound wave on different frequencies without creating distortion, because this low vibrational note does never cross paths with this high vibrational note. So it kind of turns into a harmony of like a om and a I can't believe I'm out here telling you guys about music. But anyway, that's what's going on with this person. They seem to be right. Their vibration is very high. And because of that, they could be very selective about the people in their lives. And they may, a lot of people may know of this person, but not a lot of people know this person, which is where protection comes into place as well, because this is not somebody who's afraid to cut people out of their lives. I also see that when you come into union with this person, they're going to be very protective of you and your connection with them, because they're not going to want to just sort of tiptoe into something willy-nilly. It's very much about, okay, if we're going to take this seriously, let's at least do it the right way. Let's not continue to make the same mistakes. Let's really try to uncover the truth, to not cause the same issues to repeat, and to understand what is truly going on here, not to just leave things unspoken or unsaid. There's a feeling of protecting your connection when you come into union with this person. And I think that means that you're going to have very sort of serious conversations in the least, let alone serious energies and mindsets towards each other. So let's have a look at messages of encouragement from their higher self now to close your reading. Group 2, please, Spirit. Can we please get messages of encouragement from Group 2's future spouse's higher self? What does their future spouse's higher self want to encourage them with? Thank you. Group 2's future spouse's higher self. What does Group 2's future spouse's... Oh my days. One more, please. Wow. Sorry, there's a beautiful warmth to your energy. I can imagine in a connection like this, it's not always sunshine, rainbows, lollipops and rainbows, sunshine, lollipops and rainbows, that's it. But once you get there, Lord, it's warm. It's so cozy-wozy. And I wouldn't be surprised if I said that in part 2 of your reading as well, because there are a lot of cozy-wozy feelings in part 2. Anyway, the first card that came out from this person's higher self, your future spouse's higher self, is there is a solution to every problem, Group 2. The back of this card says, there is an ever-ready power that helps me meet and overcome every challenge and crisis in my life. And I feel like that is especially helpful for those of you who have had to surrender and who have had to really just battle with logic versus intuition, intuition versus heartbreak, you know, all of this sort of tumultuous energy that comes from divine connections, as well as the fact that you're still just trying to lead a normal life and exist and pay your bills and go to work and wake up and go to school and make sure your kids are fed or make sure you are fed, because gosh, you know, all of those things require effort as well. Your future spouse's higher self encouragement for you is to remind yourself that there is a solution to every problem. And the main line that's standing out on this card is that there is an ever-ready power that helps me meet and overcome every challenge and crisis in my life. So whether you're a person of faith and you've practiced a specific religion or not, you always have the support of your ancestors, of your loved ones who are there guiding you, protecting you, looking after you, supporting you. And more importantly, you have the support from your higher self, right? Your energy is up there trying to guide you through this so that you get the best possible outcome. So even if you don't have a specific faith, deity, or religion that you follow, you always have yourself, and you always have the ones who loved you before you even knew what love was, right? We also have my love is limitless here. And the back of this card says, the more love I allow to flow out from me, the more there is within me and the more I receive. This is temperance in a nutshell, really reconciling that energy, sifting through those uncomfortable fears, triggers, feelings, so that we can get to the core of that acceptance, awareness, and just overall love. So beautiful. My love is limitless. We also have, my home is a peaceful haven. So your future spouse's higher self is encouraging you to keep your home as a recharge station, as a peaceful place for you to come back to recharge, to keep safe, to use as your sanctuary. My home is a reflection of myself. As I clean out the closets of my mind, I also make my home a wonderful place to live in. This could be that little push to kind of do those dishes or to do that laundry or to wipe that kitchen bench down, to do that, to clean up and to make it, help it correlate to a tidy up of your mind closet as well. We have, I heal myself on all levels. And the back of this card says, wherever I am, there is a healing atmosphere. It blesses me and brings peace to me and to all those around me. So beautiful. There is that, and again, that energy of temperance. When we reconcile within, our environment reflects the same. All change starts internally, really. Sometimes things are just thrown at us and we have to choose how we wish to react to that situation. But for you, this is very much about internally digesting in order to project the reality that you deserve based on your internal energy. We also have I'm always safe here. And this card is very powerful because I think that this is specifically talking about things that could have been traumatic or traumatizing from your past or just unsettling, to say the least. I am always safe. I release my emotional attachment to beliefs from the past so that they do not hurt me in the present. I am safe. So beautiful, group number 2. That is the messages from your, or should I say, who is your future spouse, part 3 for you, group 2. I'm going to take this into the extended now, so I'll just quickly remind you about the extended reading and what it will entail. The extended reading for all groups will be looking into how your future spouse will treat you in front of family, in front of friends, in front of strangers, and when you disagree. We'll also be getting channeled messages from your future spouse using my own channeled messages deck, as well as the Cupid Says Love Oracle deck as well, which is a channeled messages deck. So we're going to just kind of be tying it off with some nice sort of sweet messages, hopefully. We'll get channeled messages from their ego as well as from their higher self. And the how they will treat you is a suggestion that I thought was so out of the box that I had to do it. So I did want to make sure that we covered that as well. The link to the extended is in the description box. You can choose to rent just your groups reading, or if you want, you can rent the collection. It's up to you. Group 2, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate all of your support. And I also want to take a quick second to thank your spiritual team, my spiritual team, for helping me channel today's messages, and more importantly, for keeping keeping me safe while doing so. I shall connect with you very, very soon. Bye. Hi group 3 and welcome. If you chose this beautiful ring, then this is going to be your part 3, who is your future spouse reading. I love this ring. I have hardly worn it because I bought all of these rings together, but it is already a favorite for me. It definitely stands out in the piece, in the collection. So group 3, oh my days, we have a lot to cover. I do have the questions / topics that we'll be covering in today's reading listed in the description box. So if you want to follow along or if you want to know what's next, you can have a look at the description box. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I made it sound like I had more to say, but I really didn't. Okay, group 3, let's start with who instigates your connection with your future spouse. Why am I so giggly for you? I feel embarrassed. I don't know why. Who are you, group 3? I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. Let's figure out who your future spouse is. Group 3, please, Spirit. Who instigates their connection between group 3 and their future spouse? Who instigates... That was quick. Oh, stop. Look at this beautiful imagery together. That's one of my favorite Mac DeMarco songs. We also have Flowing. Oh, wow. Oh, my Lord. Betty Davies' eyes in a picture. Literally, Betty Davies' eyes in a picture. Just that haunting. Yeah. Okay. 2 more cards, please, Spirit. Who instigates the connection between group 3 and their future spouse? Oh, hello. Welcome. We have Dream coming out. Interesting. 1 more card. Who instigates the connection between group 3 and their future spouse? Boundless. Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. It's kind of clear to me. I don't know if it's something that you could see yourself doing, but it's you, group 3. You instigate the connection between your future spouse. You come across as radiant and confident and glowing and just very attractive, and you pull this person in. You make them feel safe, and you kind of seem to be this sort of energy that just really gives. And I think that this person is, you almost make it easy for this person. They just have to stay there and take. And I don't mean to make this sound like a give and take relationship, because it's not. It's actually very balanced and it works really well for the 2 of you. It's just very much you that instigates this connection. In fact, I'm hearing that it's all about you. So I think that your future spouse is someone who really looks up to you and adores you, and they're very much able to feel the way that they do in life, which is confident and capable, because you exude that energy yourself. This is someone who is inspired by your radiance, and they try to be the same way. You inspire them to embody a similar spirit. I do think that there will be a point in your relationship where this person will supersede you, in the sense of they will learn from you and then grow over you, if that makes sense. It's like at the time that you meet, you're this sort of flourishing sapling of a maple tree, and this person's barely a seedling, and they're looking at you as this strong, sort of capable, filled with potential being, and then they kind of learn from that and become this really strong tree. So not to say that you don't either, but I just feel like what inspired them, or how you inspired them, creates their own sort of strengths, you know? It's not like a connection where you depend on each other, but you definitely inspire each other. That's what I can say. And my eyes keep doing this thing where, like, I look at the ground and then they start coming up. So I do think that the 2 of you grow together, and I do think that you have the potential to grow something together. So for some of you, this could be children, but for others of you, this seems to be like a creative sort of project or interest that you create together. Bottom deck energy is instinct. Yeah, so I think technically speaking, you would both agree that you're the one, group 3, who will instigate this connection. But I do think that it's very much mutual, reciprocated, bouncing off each other. There's no one dominant energy in your connection. It's just very much about sort of inspiring and doing this sort of dance around each other where you're like, do, 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 do. Why is it the Funky Town song? Anyway, it does feel like you seem to inspire the main sort of connection part. But I do think that it requires a lot of instinctual action from your person's side. And there is a togetherness here that makes me think that you both technically make the connection happen. Naturally, it takes two to tango, but you would both also agree that you're the instigator. It's because of your radiant, confident, open, eager sort of energy that the connection stands a chance in the beginning. Very, very beautiful. Is there anything I've missed here for group 3 spirit that they need to know about the instigation process? I think that's it, sweets. I'm not getting anything specific. Is there anything else? There's this grabbing thing that you do, and it's because of this card. Why is that sticking out to me, Spirit? Boundless, boundless. Bound, Kanye West. No, don't. That song haunts these readings. I need to take it out of the playlist. Instigates. Interesting. A touch. It could have to do with physical touch. I'm sorry, I can't get any more specific than that. But there's this grabbing thing that goes on between the two of you. Maybe if you're already in union with this person, that'll be a confirming message for you. It just seems to be like this grabbing thing. This grabbing, like... What is it? It's like a holding. Like a monkey grip? No, but it just seems to be like a gesture. Anyway, I'm sorry. That couldn't be just nothing at all, or it could apply to 1 out of 1,000 of you, but let's keep moving forward. That's as specific as I can get, I think. Group 3, please, Spirit. How/when will their future spouse know that they've fallen for them? How and when will group 3's... King of Cups reversed. Sorry, I just heard in my head Vera Blue and Flume. Flume's the real MVP, but anyway. Rushing back, I always let the day slip away. I should have been making up my mind. Interesting. Running out of time. Let's get some more cards out here. Group 3. How and when will their future spouse know that they've fallen? We have the 2 of Pentacles coming out. How and when will their future spouse? We have the High Priestess. Wow. Okay. There's definitely a connection here. A very strong connection from the beginning. Group 3. We have 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. How/when does Hierophant in the reverse? Okay, your future spouse is like, I know. I don't show, but I know. Okay, interesting. Judgment. Wow, so they choose the right time to tell you, but this person seems pretty sure of their feelings from a very early stage in your connection. A thing that stands out is that they their feelings are put to the test here. So this makes me think of a long distance connection, or just someone who is put in a situation where they almost don't realize until it's threatened. You know, like doesn't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got until it's gone. Not to say that your relationship breaks, but it makes me think that, we just started dating a month ago and I'm just going to go for like a 2-week holiday. Coronavirus, I was stuck for 2 months. I realized in quarantine that I loved this person so much. But I waited, I didn't tell them until it was the right time. That's what it feels like. Just to use an example, this person knows early on that they have feelings for you, but they're still trying to understand them better. And they also feel like the context of your relationship, whatever's going on externally, is not the right time to tell you. So they wait. They kind of hold off. They're like, I know, but I'm not really comfortable with talking about them yet. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for the right time. I'm going to wait until the situation improves, or until it's less busy, or until we can actually see each other in person, or until, you know, the bigger issue is resolved, until we graduate college, or until we move out of this challenging situation, until the change takes effect. I'll keep these feelings secret. I'll hold on to them. I'll observe the situation in terms of our relationship, and I'll wait for that right time to tell them. It feels like this person knows how they feel from you, mostly because it comes in very strongly, and it's undeniable every time they see you. Every minute they spend with you solidifies to them even more that, wow, this is definitely someone that I could imagine a future with. It does feel like as their feelings grow for you, their practical circumstances also change. So maybe this person was originally like, you know what, I'm just going to finish high school, I'm going to get a good job, I'm going to, start, taking night classes for college, work my way up in my career, buy a car, buy a house, and then get married. Whatever happens, they had a plan, and falling in love with you changes that plan. And it's not that it's a bad change, but it's definitely a reluctant change, because it seems to be something that has to be adjusted. And it's kind of like, well, where do we grow from here? Which is where I think the two of you are able to create with each other and inspire each other to continue to create. Because this person singularly thought that they already had a fairly safe, practical plan for themselves. And then meeting you instigated a lot more opportunity, as well as a lot more potential for growth. And it requires them to kind of really sort of test the boundaries of the plan that they originally had. And I don't think it was a foolproof plan, by the way. It was a very safe, practical plan. It was something that their parents had done before them, or something that they had expected of them from a very young age. I do think that their feelings for you are something that they do keep secret, even though they come on very strong from the beginning. This is someone who would kind of prefer to wait to see how you feel first. They would wait for you to give them firmer indication of your feelings. And I think that this person would kind of want a more sentimental moment to be able to share their feelings with you. This isn't a kind of Gemini. Sorry, Geminis, love yous. But this isn't a Gemini who would either blurt out their feelings or text it to you. This is someone who would... they would want to make a sentimental moment. Very Taurian sort of Venusian energy, a committed, serious Libra. Not a Libra who's dating around. Libras are a little bit of loose cannons when they want to be, but it does feel like, this person's waiting for the right time to tell you. So how will they know? It's more a feeling that you give them, and they have time to reflect and understand those feelings. That solidifies it for them. They're also able to kind of spend more time with you, and through that time, which I did talk about briefly, they fall and fall and fall. It's very much every minute is like another heavy feeling of love. It's like they find another reason to fall for you every time they spend time with you. And I think that it becomes a little bit like a wow, like they kind of almost know that you're someone that they want a serious relationship with in the very least, and at the most you're someone who they want to marry. But it also feels like they can't do that right now. Either they don't have enough money to, or they aren't able to offer you that serious commitment. And it makes me think that it's because they had another expectation that they had to fulfill first. So they have to restructure that in order for your relationship to truly flourish. And I do see that obviously happening because they are your future spouse for a reason. Group 3. Is there anything I've missed here, Spirit? Group 3. How and when will their future spouse know that they've fallen for them? Yeah, Spirit's saying that they find themselves doing things with you that they don't do with other people. So they are someone who has every reason to not sort of fall in too deep too soon. And yet with you, they find themselves just diving in and doing the serious stuff very soon, calling you partner accidentally, wanting to take more serious sort of dates with you, wanting to spend more time with you. You know, with other people, it was like, I'm busy all week, I'll be working and I don't have time until the weekend. But with you, it's like, are you free? I just finished work. What are you doing right now? I'm tired, but can we hang out? Can I see you? You're very different, and you make this person want to use every bit of their spare time to spend with you, is what I feel, group 3. Your bottom deck energy, group 3, is the Ace of Torches. So in terms of, this person, how and when will they know that they've fallen for you? It happens in a matter of weeks, you guys. Ace of Wands, it happens in a matter of weeks of knowing you. And I think with the Ace of Wands reversed, there is a false start here. So it does make me think that, there's an opportunity for them to tell you early on in the connection, but they purposefully hold back because they're waiting for a better time. Better context, better situation, or just like further on in general, so that it's not as serious too soon. But they know from a very early stage in your relationship. So let's keep moving forward. The next part is asking about their feelings, their current energy, and then we're going to compare that to the energy that you're in when you come into union. This should solidify whether they're somebody that you already know, whether they're a new person, or how far away from union you are if you're still waiting to come into union with your future spouse. Group 3, please, Spirit. What is their future spouse's current energy? What is their future spouse's current energy? Group 3. We have fire. So they're out here ambitiously creating. They could be a very creative person. It's making me think of music, video, editing, gaming, creativity in general. An artist, an expressive being who uses different mediums and resources in order to make a living, or maybe they're just a passionate hobbies-based person as well. Now, fire just tells me that this person is creating something as we speak. Their current energy reflects someone who seems to be sparking a new journey. Could be a new career. They could just be, creating something new in their life right now. Very ambitious. They might be filled with plans as well. So that's where they could be right now. Current energy. This made me think of what happens over here, how they had one expectation of what their future would be, and then you've come in and gone, I came in like a wrecking ball. Oh my God. Anyway, group 3, what is their future spouse's current energy? I sometimes forget that I'm on like a time limit. I feel like I'm just chatting with a mate. We have connect over here. Interesting. Group 3. Group 3. What is their future spouse's current energy? We have fear. Okay, wow. All Eyes on Me. That song's come out before, Tupac. All Eyes on Me. Your bottom deck energy in this deck is movement. Wow. I wasn't going to take reversals, but that is blocked for a reason. Restrictions. Could be in a physical place where you can't do a heck of a lot right now. Group 3. Oh, excuse you. Just twists itself out of the conversation. The amethyst has left the chat. Group 3, please, Spirit. What is their future spouse's energy when they come into union with them? What is Group 3's future spouse's energy when they come into union with them? Okay. We have Mintaken. So this is a starseed species, if you want to call it that. Mintaken is an incredible story. I've already forgotten it though. Honestly, I always aspired to look into starseeds further, but I wanted to give it like 100%, similar to astrology. So I barely scratched the surface. I'm not even going to pretend to be an expert, but this card specifically references this feeling of longing that Mintaken starseeds always possess, like a feeling of I'm not of this world and I wish I could be where I belong. So on this card it says longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. I think they're one of the oldest species. I may be wrong, but I believe that the legend goes that their planet was basically destroyed, or it's very impossible for them to get home now. Group 1, please, Spirit. What is their future spouse's energy at the time that they meet them? At the time that they come into union with them. What is Group 3's future spouses? We have Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, a divine plan, I was going to say grand plan. Group 3, what is their future spouse's energy at the time that they come into union? Hello, who are you and what have you done? Trust the niggle. What is the niggling feeling telling you or trying to tell you? Look at me shaking. I had an arm day today at the gym, so she's out here like a leaf in the breeze. Bottom deck energy is break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. So that took me a little while, but I promise it was worth it. Your future spouse's current energy is definitely that they're on the path of creating something. It could be something of a creative nature, but the idea is that they're birthing something through ambition and plans. They have a lot of plans. They're a bit of a schemer, this one. They are trying to connect with the right people, which makes me think that honestly, whenever connect comes out, it's either because you're currently in connection with them or this person is just out here longing for connection. They're either someone who doesn't have a lot of people around them, or they're just trying to like find the right people to be around them. So either or, their circle's very tight at the moment in general. It also makes me think that this person is hard to get to. So I want to say that physically, your future spouse is in a very tight place. Tight circle, not a lot of interactions, comings and goings, but they are trying to stay open to the right energy. And this makes me think that their plans or ambition is what could lead them to you. Group 3. I nearly forgot your group there. I'm just seeing the triangle. That triangle reminded me that you're group 3 because of the 3 sides. Anyway, they're also in a bit of a fearful energy, group 3, which makes me think that they have heavy expectations on them, or just that they feel like they have a lot of eyes on them in general. Fear is a feeling of like, well, we all know what fear feels like, but the card fear in this deck is just like a feeling of not really knowing what to expect. And I feel like this person is invested in something that they aren't 100% sure is going to offer them what they want and what they need. And that could be why they have so many plans, because part of them cannot rely on any one plan to work out for them. They seem to be ambitious, but they kind of like to have like a bit of like a Sagittarius, a little bit of everything, just in case one thing messes up, slips away. So I do think with fear here, and when I talk about these signs, by the way, I don't mean to have favorites. I'm just talking about the energy. I don't look at people as you are a Sagittarius. It's more of the energy that these zodiac signs symbolize to me. And I do think that with this person, this fear that they have could just be a fear of making the wrong choice and committing their ambitious energy to the wrong decision. I think that this person's trying to stay open and flexible to whatever doesn't work out, by offering themselves a lot of opportunities to be successful here, having their finger in multiple little honey pots. So that is where their energy is currently at. And in terms of their energy when the two of you come into union, Mintakan over here tells me that there is a part of this person that just longs to belong. They long to belong. They're looking for a place to feel like home. And it makes me think that either they're far from home or they are alienated from, you know, where they grew up, and they're a bit of a traveler looking for a place to find home, to call home. This is someone who, at the time that you come into union with them, is having this sort of empty feeling inside that they may overcompensate in other ways, may overcompensate for in other ways. They just seem to be in a place. Look at Kirk. Can you see him? He's over here. He'll come into camera soon, maybe. They just seem to be at a place in their life where there is this feeling of longing and wanting to belong. And this translates to Anna, grandmother of Jesus, who is saying that your person, when you come into union, is laying foundations towards something very serious. They may have committed themselves to something very serious, which is what we see over here, and how they know that they've fallen for you, is that this person has other things in their life that keeps them busy, and yet they still prioritize and make room for you. And I think that when you come into union with them, they seem to be taking serious moves towards their future. They seem to be someone who is looking for like their own legacy or their own sort of big thing, their big career, their big purpose, their big reason, you know, their big plan. They're trying to make it happen is what I feel. Not 100% confident that they can do it, but there's very much there, and they're going to try to make the most out of that situation, which is where the niggling feeling comes into play. When you come into union with this person, they are still trying to stay open to change and changes in direction. And the way that this translates with the niggling feeling is that I feel like this person with your relationship, they have to kind of trust that the actions that they take towards you are going to pay off. Even if it goes against what they thought they had to do or what they believe is right and practical and tried and tested, they still kind of have this feeling that following and pursuing this area of the relationship with you is going to work out. And I do think that when they come into union with you, they may be in a philosophical space where they're already contemplating like alternate outcomes in terms of their future. Sorry about bumping the camera. In terms of, you know, what they should do or what they could do to change their outcome. They may just be in a more philosophical energy and have a lot of questions, not a lot of answers, kind of just feeling a little bit more like, oh, what if this happened? What if that happened? What if this is true? What if that is true? What if I did this? What if you did this? What if we did this? What if that happened instead? Just a very philosophical, sort of open-natured, a lot of rhetorical questions, to be honest with you. So that's what I'm seeing in terms of their energy currently versus when you come into union with them. Very curious down here, a little bit tentative, but also feeling like they are missing something in their life, longing for something, longing for home, longing to belong. Needing to kind of focus on the task at hand because they have big sort of plans and they're starting to lay the foundations by creating something big in their life, but also not feeling 100% confident about where those actions are taking them and kind of wanting to have more answers, but they only have questions. Let's now get some messages of encouragement from their higher self. So I did this in part 1, but I thought to wrap up this series, it would be very helpful to revisit this because energy is constant and there may be additional messages in this deck instead of the deck that we used for part 1. So group 3 spirit, can we please get some messages of encouragement from group 3's future spouse's higher self for group 3? Oh my lord. Just group 3 messages of encouragement. Oh, that's perfect actually. That is perfect. Let's start up here. So these are all affirmation cards technically. Excuse me, I keep wiping my nose because it's very, very itchy. Okay, I accept all that I have created for myself. These are all affirmation cards, but they're mostly in your context of your reading. They're messages of encouragement from your future spouse's higher self. So their ego may not be aware of you yet, but their higher self is out here projecting energy of wisdom towards us. So this card says, I am a divine, magnificent expression of life, and I deserve the very best. I accept miracles, I accept healing, I accept wholeness, and most of all, I accept myself. I accept all that I have created for myself. So a very beautiful affirmation to kick us off. We also got, all changes are easy for me to make. In the back of this card says, the moment I am willing to change, the universe begins to help me. It brings me whatever I need. Wow. Yeah, that's very interesting. It makes me think that change is either prevalent currently in your life or at least it's imminent because of who you are evolving into. We also have, I am always perfectly protected. And this card says, when a fearful thought comes up, I recognize that it is trying to protect me. I thank it and let it go with love. Beautiful, because fear does serve a purpose. That's the thing. And the more we sort of ignore it, the bigger it can get sometimes. And we unpack it and realize, wow, that fearful thought was actually a lot smaller than it was made out to be. I wish I addressed it sooner. So fear serves a purpose. And in your case, your future spouse's higher self just wants to remind you that you are perfectly protected and to use your fears to either help you recognize that you're protected or to just thank them for trying and let them go with love. So your fears are a big emphasis in your reading from your future spouse thus far. They want you to understand your fears better and how they are helpful or unhelpful. We also have, I trust the process of life to take care of me. Interesting. It feels like your future spouse is asking for you to surrender to something, or at least not asking, but encouraging you to see that there are certain things out of your control here that you may need to let go of. Today is a new day. I will have many wonderful new experiences. I am loved, I am safe, and so it is. Today is a new day. Yeah, there's something here that they want you. Honestly, I think it's just about staying present in general, not trying to force life to happen, but just letting life happen for you. We also have, I rejoice in my employment, so work is being brought up. Okay, it could be a Taurus. I appreciate the opportunity to help, contribute to, or serve others. I connect with the creativity of the universe and allow it to flow through me in fulfilling ways. I feel this especially if you're in a job that you can't choose but you need because it is financial stability or security for you. This is asking for you to be the bigger person, unfortunately, make the best out of that situation and use it as an opportunity to help, contribute to, or serve others, connecting with the creativity of the universe and allowing it to flow through you in fulfilling ways. This is also reminding you that you are perfectly protected. So I'm thinking especially of people in hospitality or retail. Man, when you're in those careers, you put up with a whole lot of, rudeness and just terrible sides of people. But this is talking about making the most out of the situation while also understanding with this protected card that, you are a human and you deserve the basic rights of respect. And you are protected. This is seemingly pushing you towards an imminent change in life that will help you get back into the flow of where you need to be, or at least appreciate that you're in the flow of where you need to be. Very philosophical ending there. I can understand now why your future spouse is definitely someone who you inspire and vice versa. You're very much able to kind of open up this more stargazing side of each other, I guess, this dreamy side of each other that can just watch the stars and talk about some pretty deep things. Group 3, I hope this reading was helpful for you. I hope it just helps sort of summarize the series of who is your future spouse for you. I am going to take this reading into the extended now. I just want to quickly remind you what's included in the extended reading. We'll be looking at how your future spouse will treat you in front of family, in front of friends, in front of strangers, and when you disagree, which was a beautiful suggestion from a community member on the community post that I did on my channel about 2 weeks ago now. It was a very interesting suggestion, so I wanted to make room for it. We're also going to be getting channeled messages from your future spouse. We'll be using my deck over here, as well as the Cupid Says Oracle channeled messages deck, so there'll be some beautiful messages coming out for that. The extended reading is already up. The link to it is in the description. You can choose to pick solely your group or a collection of all of them if that's what you want to do. I just need to take a quick second before you go to thank your guides, my guides, and our spiritual teams for helping me channel today's messages and also for keeping me safe while doing so. I want to thank you for your time, for your support. I hope that this reading has helped raise your vibration or at least confirm what you already know and give you something to look forward to. Please look after your beautiful self, and I will connect with you very, very soon. Bye. Hi Group 4 and welcome. If you chose this beautiful heart-shaped ring with the eyeball and the incredible pupil, then this is going to be your reading. We're doing part 3 of Who is Your Future Spouse today, ending the Future Spouse series. There's a lot to cover even in this reading, and there's going to be an extended as well, but we'll talk about the extended at the end. I do have a list of all the questions / topics that we'll be covering in the description box if you want to follow along with me down there. First things first, I'm the realist. No, I'm kidding. I need to stop. I've been goofing too much. we're going to look at who instigates your connection. So which out of the two of you is the main instigator in the beginning that helps this connection come into union or come into fruition. So we'll use this beautiful deck first. Group 4, please, Spirit, help tune me into Group 4's energy. Who instigates Group 4's connection with their future spouse? We have Zen. Wow. Slow, slow, slow. Do, 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 do. Very passive, peaceful, calming, soft. I'm hearing softly spoken. The eye contact is strong though. Group 4. Who instigates the connection? We also have Conquer coming out. Very interesting colors here. I've got the shakes, you guys. I did an arm day at the gym today, so my arm's like barely here, but I'm trying. Group 4, who instigates the connection? We have Opportunity coming out. Wow, okay. One more card, who instigates the connection? We have Dream. Dream has been haunting most of the groups, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit sick of seeing it, but that's okay. It's here for a reason. Wow. Bottom deck energy is Imagination. Yeah, there's definitely a dreamer here. Either a Pisces or a strongly Neptunian presence. You don't have to be a Pisces to be a dreamer. Dreaming is a state of being, creation, in my opinion. I think dreaming is pivotal in our humanity. We need more dreamers. We need people who raise our awareness and keep our minds open to things that do not forge part of our reality. If we were to look at our future as things we had already experienced, how boring would life be? That contradicts the whole meaning of life. In my opinion, the purpose of life is to experience, and that's why dreamers are vital, because they think outside the box. They look at the bigger picture. They don't feel limited by what's in front of them. And that's why I think the person who instigates your connection is a little bit of a dreamer. They're someone who doesn't really look at the situation in a more logical way of, oh, that's embarrassing, I wouldn't want to do that. They're just here for the moment, and they're very much in the moment, finger on the pulse in terms of the present. And I think that this is someone who takes a random opportunity in a rather casual setting to really step up and make this happen. And it's very much a test of, it sets the tone for your connection, shall I say. Now, this isn't really going to be able to be a clear answer because this is a general reading. All I can say for you, Group 4, is that the main instigator of your connection is someone who has a little bit of like I want to say they're easygoing, but they're also someone who seems to be out of it. Like mentally, their mind is miles ahead. A little bit reminds me of an Aquarius. They're thinking of the future. They're here physically in the present with you, but their mind is not looking at the present as like their limits. They're looking at the present as, how can I use this to get to where I want to be? And that's why I think it's split for your group. 50% of you, it's your person who instigates your connection because they are someone who is able to take advantage of that opportunity and use that opportunity to get closer to you. But for others of you, you're the dreamer. You're the one who's in the moment and taking this opportunity to get closer to them and inspiring them to be similar, or at least embrace similar qualities in their personality. Excuse me, sorry, my nose has been so itchy since Group 2's reading. I don't know what happened. It's just like itchy feeling. It's horrible. And I think it's one of those things, like the more you itch it, the worse it gets. So I apologize. It might be happening a lot in this reading. But I do think that the instigator in your connection, yeah, they have this sort of laid back side to them. But I want to say that a clear way to identify is the eyes. Their eyes are very much fixated on you. They're looking at you. They're trying to find the opportunity to be alone with you. And they're trying to take that opportunity to win you over. They're trying to let you in on the vision that they see for the two of you. Because this is someone who already imagines spending a lot of time with you from the minute they meet you. It feels like they have similar interests as you, or there's something about you physically that they're interested in, and they want to talk to you about that. After realizing that you have very similar thoughts on that topic, they want even more time with you, and they can realize that wow, like I could spend a lot of time with this person, sharing similar thoughts or having similar conversations. I also think group 4 that this person is going to, the one who instigates this connection is going to be someone who seems to be able to fill the silence. Like they're able to talk and sort of offer ideas or topics, not as someone who is just talking, and like you have no say. They're like an instigator in every sense of the word. They are very much able to provoke more questions. It feels like this is someone who wants to get into your mind and understand how you think. So they feel like they're going to be the one who's, asking questions. And it's not just about, I want to tell you my story. It's like, well, no, I want to get to know you because I'm out here like interviewing you. This is your, what's the word? Like what's that like process that they do? Like a recruitment process checklist. This is your, what's it called? Where like you go through like an interrogation type of thing. I guess that's the word. Where they're just trying to get to know you and your qualities and whether they could imagine themselves spending a lot of time with you, group 4. So if that sounds like you, then it's you who's going to instigate your connection. Strong sort of Aquarius energy, or Pisces sort of Neptunian energy, as well as this Uranus energy. But on top of that, it could be a Scorpio as well. Scorpios, when they're curious and they're trying to find their target, they ask some really interesting questions as well, and they start some very deep conversations. So whatever it is, whoever it is, it's someone who isn't afraid to like get into the more sort of philosophical stuff and some big questions and some interesting topics. It feels like this instigator is someone who is already thinking of their future. So group 4, if that sounds like you, then you're the instigator. If it doesn't, it's most likely going to be this person. I want to say that this person presents as someone who has like this desire to sort of conquer and like make it solidified, but at the same time, they don't really come across as forceful or someone who's trying to, squeeze that conversation into a monologue. They want it to be a conversation, not a monologue. So that's what I'm seeing for your first question. Very interesting answer. Let's have a look at how and when your future spouse will know that they've fallen for you, group 4. We're going to start with the tarot, actually. Tarot for this portion, because tarot will be able to get very nitty-gritty for me. I love oracle cards. I just thought for this question, we'll definitely get into tarot. So group 4, please, Spirit. How and when will their future spouse know that they've fallen for them? Oh, we have the 6 of Cups showing up in the reverse position. How and when will their future spouse know? There's Scorpio. Death coming out reversed. I had a feeling Scorpio would come out. I was starting to see one of my Scorpion friends. We have 5 of Pentacles in the upright. Group 4. How and when will their future spouse know that they've fallen for them? Look at all these cards. We have the 10 of Swords in the upright. Excuse me, that's the 9. That's the 9 of Swords. How and when will they know that they've fallen for group 4? We have the Lovers in the reverse position. Wow. How will group 4's future spouse know that they've fallen? We also have the 8 of Cups. I had a feeling this card was going to come out. I kind of saw it in my mind's eye when the 6 of Cups came out. Your bottom deck energy at this stage is the Devil card reversed. Interesting. Let me just wipe my nose really quickly. I know, I apologize. It's going to keep happening, unfortunately. There seems to be a lot of interference in this summarizing video. Now, how/when will they know that they've fallen for you, group 4? Honestly, I feel like your future spouse is someone who's trying to stay open and optimistic, but they may have come out of a really difficult relationship that left them feeling less than optimistic about people's abilities to make them happy. This seems to be someone who is either looking for something very specific in terms of they're looking for a soulmate or someone who they can trust and love and just the one, basically, or they're just like so against looking for love because love's let them down in the past. And it could be a combination of the two. I feel like your person is trying, when the two of you meet, to not sort of force these expectations onto you, but they are receiving signs from the beginning that they think it's you, group 4. So they don't seem to know 100%, but they have suspicions from the beginning, because there is something very healing and warm about your energy from the beginning. You seem to remind them either of someone from their past, or you seem to remind them of a part of them that they've been craving, if that makes sense. There's a familiarity here that is very healing for them. And although it's kind of everything that they've ever wanted, it also seems a little bit too good to be true. And I see this person just really trying to kind of not get their hopes up and trying not to get too ahead of themselves. So I want to say that they know that they've developed feelings from you when they first meet you, but I don't see them wanting to sort of dive in. I see them doing the opposite and wanting to just really test the waters with you and slowly get more comfortable with you. I feel like if you sense hesitancy from this person and you try to talk to them about it, they will be very open and honest. They will tell you the truth. With the 9 of Swords upright, this isn't someone who wants to hurt you, but they also understand that not telling you anything is going to hurt you as well. So I think that as hesitant as they may be initially, they would tell you everything if you really wanted to know. The truth is they had suspicions from the beginning, but they didn't want to dive in head first. So they kind of waited and they warmed up to you, and they waited until you'd shown signs of being healing rather than hurtful, because I do think that either they were in a hurtful relationship in the past, or they just don't have a lot of faith in people, and they're very much out here waiting for the right one. They're not out here sort of creating the relationships left, right, and center. They're just kind of waiting for the right person. I do think that your future spouse over here with the Death card reversed is almost needing to have their mind changed by you as well. It makes me think that they either come in jaded, or it just takes them a little bit to fully accept the situation for what it is. It's kind of like their heart is telling them yes, but their mind is telling them no, group 4. So they do have feelings there, but the feelings have to be processed and cycled through and understood better. I feel like this person falls for you, but they're very hesitant to fall in love with you, if that makes sense. This is someone who'll say that they love you, but they won't allow themselves to fall in love with you for quite a while, because they just need to know that you're actually someone that they can trust, someone who's going to be there for them in the best way. And I do think that this mentality could be perceived as selfish, because they may even tell you like, yeah, I love you, but you'll sense that part of them is like back here, just staying like a little bit closed off like this, And I think that's because they're trying to sort of protect themselves. They're trying to keep their mind open to the idea that the thing that they really, really care about could turn around and hurt them again. And maybe this wasn't even a romantic relationship. Maybe these are childhood wounds, Maybe the person who was supposed to love them hurt them when they were a child. And that happens a lot more regularly than not, unfortunately. So I do think that this person takes it as a bit of like an inner burden, a self-based issue. It's not something that they try to project into your connection. And again, if you really pushed, they would tell you the truth. They would tell you all of it. So I feel like feelings for this person are strong. They do seem to be someone with a lot of love to give. But when it comes to really falling, they're very much like two hooks onto the side of the cave and slowly being dragged down by the force of gravity, They're very much against the idea because they don't want to hurt again. And I see that being reflected over here with the 5 of Pentacles and the 8 of Cups. How would they know is that they are very much afraid of being put back into a situation where they're left out in the cold. They almost have to realize that the fear is an indication, they have to realize that the fear of you hurting them is the indication that they actually really care about you, because if you hurt them, it would break them. So I think that unfortunately it's like a process of elimination here with this person. They have to see how painful or fearful it would be to lose you in order to appreciate how much they really love you, which is interesting. That message has come out in another group too. I won't tell you which group, but if you are feeling called to a different group, that could be a sign. Now, the Eight of Cups over here, I do think that the Eight of Cups is another sign of like emotional sort of distance, and I think that that is something that kind of tells this person, because either they're realizing that they don't want to be apart from you, or they're realizing that they're being triggered. Maybe this person knows that they're a bit of a runner, you know, when things start to get too serious, they want to just pack up and leave, and they can feel those feelings coming. But this time it would be very difficult to do that. This time their mind is telling them to run, but their heart's like, don't do it, don't do it. This person hasn't hurt you. They're not going to hurt you. So I feel like this is a very interesting individual who is honestly, they have so much love to give. They have so much warmth to them, and you offer them so much warmth, but there is so much hesitancy to dive straight in with you, group 4. They feel like you're just going to abandon them like other people in their life. And I think unfortunately, it's that process of elimination that gets them there in the end. They realize they've fallen for you, and they understand that losing you is a very, very, very painful idea and concept to them. Very interesting, group 4. We're going to move forward now. We're going to look at their energy currently versus when you come into union with them, okay? And that will hopefully tell us more about this person. So if you're curious about their personality, who they are, I do recommend that you have a look at part 1 and 2, because we do go into that more, and you get sort of a better understanding of who they are in those parts as well. If you haven't already, most of you are here because you've already seen part 1 and 2. All right, Spirit. Group 4, their future spouse. What is their future spouse's current energy in? What is group 4's future spouse's? Oh, romance. Out here looking for love. Okay. Okay, they're out here looking for love, Spirit saying. Wow. Well, technically I said it, but that was a very strong message. Group 4, please, Spirit. Yeah, self-care. Okay, so they're out here loving themselves first, romancing themselves. They might be putting themselves on the market. I don't know, though. I'm not getting that strongly. I just feel like this person is such a lover, and it's a little bit sad that they are so hesitant to be that way, because I do get that this person has such a warm, loving side to them. One more card for group 4. What is their future spouse's current energy? What is their future spouse's current energy, Spirit? Excuse me. What is their future spouse's? We have birth. Oh, my days. Okay. They're giving birth as we speak. If we took it seriously. Your future spouse is giving birth as we speak. All right, your bottom deck energy over here is move on in the upright as well. So let's keep that close, because I'll refer to it if I have to. We're going to get cards now that will tell us what your future spouse's energy is like when the two of you come into union. And then I'll compare the two. Group 4, what is their future spouse's energy like when they come into union? What is group 4's energy with their future spouse? What is their future spouse's energy like when they come into union, Spirit? We have align your life. Okay. What does the bottom of this card say? Can you read it? I feel like Dora. Can you read it? What is not aligned or needs to change? Okay. Time to move. Oh no, I heard that song. Move. Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way. Okay. What's going on with this person? Their future spouse, Spirit. What is their energy like when they come into union with group 4? What is their future spouse's energy like when they come into union with group 4? We have protection. Interesting. Chicken wing. Hot dog macaroni. One more card. What is their energy like when they come into union with group 4? Hello. Oh no, we got 2 cards. Oh well. Keepers of the earth, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. Excuse me for the shakes. One more card, it's on the ground. Oh, it's face down. Perfect. We don't need to know what it was. But your bottom deck energy is in a temple. Beautiful imagery in this deck. Gorgeous imagery. Devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. Holy heck. Who is your future spouse group for? You might have a very healing or at least spiritually aware future spouse, because it's very interesting. So their current energy is that they're very focused on self-care. They're focused on a lot of love, to be honest with you. I don't know if they're dating. I'm not getting that strongly, but I get with romance here that they are just trying to like make room for love in their life in the very least. Because of the way that this imagery looks, it just looks like this person is trying to balance out aspects of their life so that there is room for love. So I wouldn't be surprised if this person is about to, be more open to meeting people. But I also am getting reminded of that message that this person is looking for a very specific type of person to come into their life. Either they're out here manifesting a soulmate, or they're out here manifesting the one to come in. I feel like your future spouse is very, very focused on themselves regardless, not in an overtly selfish way. They're just trying to honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to heal all of these intimacy issues, because they seem to be someone who seems to understand themselves well enough to know at the time that the two of you come into union what is helpful and what is unhelpful in your connection. I see that this person is really focusing on themselves and loving themselves, looking after themselves. They don't seem to be actively looking for any one person to come in, but they're definitely making room for love in their life, especially with birth here. I see birth as something new, beginning, this person creating something as we speak. I mean, listen, they could be having children as we speak, but I don't think that's the case. I think of it more as a metaphor for your group. And I see this birth as more of an awakening, a new awareness, the opportunity to see something differently and to step into a new space of awareness. This person could be starting a new path, and it could have to do with love or how they love themselves. Maybe they're sharing that love for themselves in other aspects in their life. They could be starting a business in self-love, for example, who knows? But it all seems to be tied with this person. They seem to be a holistic mover. When one aspect of their life is triggered, it impacts all areas. They seem to be very spiritual one way or another, group 4. Your person has a connection to spirituality, especially with what we're seeing down here. When the two of you come into union, your future spouse is really aware of what is and isn't working for them. And they're kind of trying to make the changes necessary to look at how these things aren't working, if that makes sense. This person is very aware of what isn't working. And I see with aligned here, align your life. This person, when you come into union, maybe it's because you're coming into union, but they seem to just be changing things around, restructuring, reorganizing, moving things around, maybe to make more room for you, which is where they're currently at anyway. Interesting. Moving seems to be involved in your connection, needing to restructure things. They could be a lot closer than you think, you guys. Because I'm seeing symmetry here in different ways, with self-care, protection, romance, balance, aligning, move on, devotion. Interesting. Self-care and protection. When the two of you come into union, this person does have this sort of feeling of guarding and being careful of what is and isn't allowed around them. And the way that I see that playing out in your connection is that this person may, in order to commit themselves to this relationship, may need to cut other people out of their life, or at least consider having better boundaries to get energy focused in the right way. I wouldn't be surprised if it's because the way that the two of you work and the way that this person seems to work, they're very spiritual. To make room for you, they need to take energy back from something else. It makes me think of this idea that was revealed to me that, we kind of just make, until we are selective with how we spend our time, there will always be something to spend our time on. Time is constant. It just rolls over and ticks. You could either mindlessly spend 2 hours scrolling on Instagram or TikTok or anything on your phone, Or you could mentally commit that time to 2 hours of, mindful practice doing something else. So that's very much what I feel here, is that your person's energy before they know you is that they have a lot of time technically, but they don't see that because they fill their time. And then you come in and they realize, like, wow, I actually I need to cut this distraction out. I need to limit that time here. I need to do this instead. I need to limit this. And they're very flexible, but they don't see themselves as flexible until you come into union with them. And then they realize how their energy has kind of just been everywhere because they haven't had a reason to channel it specifically. So it's very interesting. Your person presents as very busy, but they're not. I'm sorry, group, they're not. I don't mean to make them sound like they're not important. That's not at all what I'm saying, but they're not as busy as they think they are. With Keepers of the Earth here, when you come into union with your future spouse, they seem to have a very strong connection to who they are and to who they kind of came from. Whether that means that they're very connected to their family, they're very connected to their spirituality. It just kind of feels like this person has a strong connection to self, and they seem to that seems to be reflected in who they are and how they present themselves. So I don't know, I'm just getting a strange feeling like they're very spiritual and they connect with their ancestors a lot. If that isn't going to resonate for all of you, the only other thing I could think of with that card is that this person is just very much in a place of like trying to move forward with a purpose. Like, I get this feeling when we talk about ancestors, for me, it's a grounding experience of like, in order for me to be here, that person had to live, fall in love, have a child, and bring that child into this life, who would then live, fall in love, have a child, go through hardships, go through challenges, overcome it, and, raise that next child all the way down to me. So it makes me think that your person is either very focused on a purpose, or they're just very much like deep into like, well, why am I here? And what do I want to do with this life? This life isn't meaningless. Like, in order for me to be here, thousands of people had to exist before me and make choices that led to me being here. So that is kind of why your bottom deck energy when you come into union is in a temple. Tune in to the portal of your heart. It feels like this person is very much like, and I mean, listen, it may not reflect as being very impactful in the physical, but this person's energy is like seeking meaning, seeking purpose, seeking alignment, trying to understand where the change is taking them and how to create more connection to their beliefs or to their spirituality. That's what I'm seeing for you. I'm a very interesting person, group 4. Seriously, I don't know who they are, but they're very, very, very interesting and tragically romantic. Like, oh, wow, let's keep going. Sorry, but I feel like I'm just reading myself the longer I look into some of these cards. So I want to stay present for you. We're going to close this off with messages of encouragement from your future spouse's higher self. We're hoping to get at least 5 cards. These are affirmation cards by Louise Hay. They're called Heart Thought cards. And these are just going to be extra little messages of affirmation, support, and encouragement from your future spouse's higher self. I did this for part 1, but it was more advice. So this is just what I thought would be like a wholesome, warm way to kind of tie up this reading. So let's see what your future spouse's higher self wants to say to you. Group 4, please, Spirit. What messages of encouragement can Group 4's their future spouse's higher self offer them? My days, look at this. They want to tell you the whole shebang-a-bang. I feel like the two of you will be really good confidants. Like, you'll have really interesting, close conversations. This person may tell you things that they don't tell anybody else, Group 4. What is this person, which is kind of like low-key what you would want from a future spouse, isn't it? That sort of intimacy. All right, let us see what fell out first. I express myself in positive ways. Your future spouse is encouraging you to be expressive. I'm hearing impactful with your expression. Everything I do is by choice. I can choose what to say, do, and think. I'm hearing carve your own path. Don't let them forge your mind. with their ideas. Interesting. I express myself in positive ways. We also have I express my true being. Yeah, being authentic to who you are seems to be very vital in this journey of coming into union. My wisdom and understanding of spirit increases, and I express more fully each day the inner beauty and strength of my true being. So you both seem to be very spiritual beings who seem to be very aware of the fact that certain things aren't necessarily as they appear to be. I express my true being. Interesting. You have a strong spiritual connection to this person. We also have all changes are easy for me to make. The back of this card says, the moment I'm willing to change, the universe begins to help me. It brings me whatever I need the moment you're willing to change. The universe will bring you whatever you need. So your future spouse is asking for you to stay open to change. It makes me think that in order for the two of you to meet, something has to change in your current circumstances if you're not in union yet. I know that some of you are already in union with the person who you're going to spend the rest of your life with. In terms of in general, it's not necessarily a specific message I'm getting in your group, but some of y'all watch this and you're like, I already know. I just want to see if you know. We also have, I am in the process of becoming my own best friend. The person I am most happy to be with. Wow. I'm hearing love yourself. Yeah, loving myself unconditionally means accepting what is. In loving myself, I help create a world where it is safe for us to love each other. Closer, closer, and closer. The closer you get to yourself, the closer others can get to you. How can somebody love you if you don't even know who you are or how to love yourself? You're offering a shell. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous game to play. It's not necessary, but Lord, it's from personal experience, it's a dangerous game to play. I'm willing to learn new things. The back of this card says, I love to learn and am willing to drop old concepts when they no longer work for me. Growing and changing is exciting. Your future spouse is really encouraging you to change, to get out of what you're currently in. And listen, I'm summarizing this in a forceful way, but the energy that I'm getting is very slow and encouraging, not at all telling you what to do. Your future spouse is just trying to kind of solidify or confirm things that you already suspected about your present circumstances. Things have to change in order for you to be who you want and to be with who you want. There is a feeling of you manifesting this person into your life and vice versa through some hardships that you endure before meeting each other. And I do think that through those hardships, you're able to get closer to who you are by understanding how to express yourself in those situations and how to be yourself in those situations. So that's what I'm seeing for you, group 4. Thank you so much for joining me today in this reading. I'm going to take this into the extended now. Just to quickly recap, the extended reading will be looking at how your future spouse will treat you in front of family, in front of friends, in front of strangers, and when you disagree. We will also be getting channeled messages from your future spouse. We'll be getting channeled messages from my deck, as well as from the Cupid Says channeled messages oracle deck. So it should be pretty good, a pretty wholesome way to summarize this series. I do want to thank you again for joining me today. You're an interesting group, I've got to be honest with you. At a certain point in your reading, I saw myself in the cards, and it was very much a moment of me having to withdraw and come back as an objective mind, because there's something about your future spouse that feels hauntingly familiar. And I think that it's a very interesting character development story. Like, this person has a lot of potential to grow into something very ambiguous and less connected to this world, more connected to the spirit world, if that makes sense. Their vessel is going to change throughout their life, I feel, because they're constantly reinventing themselves through their spirit. That's just what I'm picking up on for you. Now, I do need to now thank your guides, my guides, and our spiritual teams for helping me channel today's messages and for keeping me safe while doing so. I really appreciate all of your support, Group 4. Stay safe, stay well, and I shall connect with you very, very soon. Bye!